Hello. I haven't done this for a while. I think I've done it correctly. Keeks is just coming in down there. Hi, Els. Yeah, he's a minute early. You're a minute early. That's fine. Yeah, I hope everyone is okay. Just wait for some people to arrive. It's a lovely evening here. Hi to Mark as well. Good to have you here. Hope you're both well. Yes, it's been a bit cloudy today, but it's sunny now. Keeks has got a bone down there. So you'll probably hear some grinding in the background during this stream. We'll just wait for a few more people to arrive. Yeah, hope everyone is well. I've been really busy, obviously. I've been trying to recuperate a little bit this week. It was quite intense around the time of the launch. Yeah, it's pretty nice here. It's been a mild day. It's mostly been cloudy, but the sun's really shining now, just at a time when I don't really need it to. So I pulled the blinds down. Hi to Jenny. I'm glad to hear you've got your paper back. There's still some people waiting, I think, in Britain. But I'm glad you've got it over there. That's great. Hi to Bran. Hi to Magama, I think that's pronounced. Hello to Margaret. Hi to Michelle. Glad you're here. 16 degrees in the North Pennines and cloudy bright. I wonder what the temperature is here. 18 here, apparently. But yeah, it feels pretty mild, but nice. Hi to Paul. Hi to John Bayliss. Hello to Simone. Hi Chris. Good you're doing a live. Your book arrived a few days ago, so just started, but you're getting good reviews by the looks of it. I had problems with Amazon, so I ordered through Waterstones. Yeah, that's just a distribution issue. That if people have had stuff cancelled, it's just a distribution issue. We've actually done a second print run now, and hopefully they'll be more readily available now. It's a bit of a delicate balance getting the printing right and dealing with these companies and so forth. So we did the best that we can. But yeah, it's good to know they're going through to most people. But there are going to be some more. There are going to be some more made available soon. The other thing is the audiobook, I am told, could be available early next week. We wanted it to be on the day, but it did take a little while to produce and then put it out. So in a way, I think it's worked out okay, because then that'll be a second kind of bump, hopefully, a second kind of surge early on. And yeah, hopefully those of you that have managed to buy it through Amazon can buy the audiobook and review the audiobook. But that should be available fairly early next week, I think. At least sometime next week, we think. So, I mean, I'd quite like to listen to it myself. I don't know if I'd listen to the whole thing, but I'd like to listen to some of it and just see what it sounds like, because I've only heard it through headphones and through muffled. So, by the way, if anyone wants to post on Facebook just to say that this is live, that'd be great. I don't usually post because I feel like I post enough stuff on Facebook already. But if someone wants to just post on there and just let people know, that'd be appreciated. Hi to Rachel. Yes, I am glad to be home. It's nice to be back in Derbyshire for sure. Hi to Tink. Hi to Karen, who says I look tired. Well, people keep saying that. I think I'm a little bit less tired than I was. I've been trying to have a little bit of a break. Unfortunately, I got involved in some stuff this week that was important. So I've not had a solid holiday yet. But to be honest, I've had a bit of a break and it's been good, and I'm going to continue having a bit more of a break. and I'm not going to overdo it or anything for a while. But I know I'll get bored pretty quickly. I want to write another book, so that will be that process will be starting soon. I mean, I've already got quite a few planned, so I'll probably start the preliminary process. I mean, I said to myself I might give myself the rest of the year off, but I clearly won't because I'll just get bored. So I'll probably start researching or prepping the next book soon. And I've got to give it a little bit of thought as to what of the. It might be a situation where I have to do research for more than one book at once. But anyway, I don't need to think about that just yet. Hi to Vivian. Hi to Little Unicorn. I've read the first 2 pages of your book, the first book I've read in years. Well, I hope you enjoyed the first 2 pages. You're 0.5% in, nearly. Hi to Dave in Swansea. Hello, Chris. Been following all the excellent stuff you've been doing, Deborah. Thank you. Appreciate all the support. There's going to be. I've been kind of treading water a bit on YouTube for a while because obviously there was a lot of demands on me with the book launch and so forth. There'll be some interesting stuff coming up over the next few weeks, and after that, I will get back to recording more original content. I just haven't had the time to do that, but I will be doing it in the future. Hi to Wednesday. Appreciate the kind words. Sarah says, I got mine in New Zealand on the published day. Very impressed. Thank you, Sarah. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm glad you got it so quickly as well. Hi to Key to Confidence. Nice to have you here. So I'm looking well, which is good. I've been in the sun a bit. I'm a little bit less pale than usual. This could be part of the reason. Good evening to Cool Cat. All the best in the book launch. Appreciate that. Hello to Michael. Great to see you back again. Thankfully cooler today. Yeah, it's good to be back. It was pretty intense weather for me where I was. I don't know what it was like for you guys, but it was just over. It was 30 degrees or every day, relentlessly. And then after that, some days would go closer to 40, which is fine if you're in a country that's built for it. But I feel like we're not. So it was. I wasn't disappointed. I'm not disappointed just to have a cooler temperatures and a bit of cloud. By the way, Michael, a few streams ago, I can't remember when it was, I accidentally banned you. As you can see, I managed to work out how to unban you, which is good. And it was just purely because I meant to ban someone else and you were one person above them, and then I couldn't work out how to do it. So sorry about that, but I don't think you noticed, or maybe you did. But anyway, I worked out how to unban you, so it's fine. Hi to John. Hi to Else. Book launch was great. Fab Q&A. Yeah, thank you. It wasn't actually planned that way. So John Sweeney was going to ask me some questions and interview me for a period. I thought it might be like 20, 25 minutes. And he just asked me a couple of questions. And as you saw, said, let's throw it open. So I think it worked really well. I didn't know what the questions were going to be, so I just did my best, I also filmed the Daily Telegraph the same day, so I'm waiting for that to come out still. And there should be some more stuff coming out soon, hopefully. But I think it's been quite unfortunate, actually, that firstly, we released a book at the time that Carl went public, and that had an influence, and also a good influence for us as well, and it got the story in the news. But he was, it was a big story, rightly so. But then also on top of that, there's been one prime minister's finished, a new prime minister's come in. Obviously, it's the Anne Widdecombe stuff, which is unfortunate. So yeah, there's been a lot of stories. So the Daily Telegraph's been covering that this week on the podcast, which is understandable. But hopefully, they'll put it out next week. We'll see. But I'm glad you enjoyed the Q&A. It was a really great thing to do. I must say, there were little canapes and stuff. I never got to eat any of the canapes because I was too busy. I signed a lot of books, and I obviously did the Q&A and so forth. So I managed to have some champagne. Other people had more than me, I think, but I had a glass anyway. Hi to So Hard to Find a Good User Handle. Good unused handle, rather. Hi to Janet. Glad you've got your ebook. That's great. Hello to Bernie. Hi to Ebony. Book is really great. Thanks. Glad to hear that. Appreciate that. Yes, we made it home in one piece. It was very. I mean, I explained the journey home in a previous video, so everyone knows what happened probably. But it was when we were in Birmingham. I was thinking we're just not going to get home. There's no point trying. I'm not sitting in the station for another 3 hours. It was boiling hot, and the trains were, I would say, moderately dangerous for human beings, let alone a dog. And I just thought, just get a Travelodge. So I managed to find a Travelodge, and it was still hot in the Travelodge, but I managed to sleep okay. And then we got up first thing. So at the moment, I'm getting up at like 5 o'clock in the morning, which is not usual for me, but not a bad thing because we get up first thing, and I go in the woods with Keek. So yes, it's all good. Hello to Colin. Hi to Stephen. Hi to Michelle. So I kind of answered that question on the Telegraph podcast. I don't have inside information on it. It will be coming soon for sure. Obviously, I presume it probably will come out this week, but I don't know for definite. Order my book April, email today saying delayed until the 18th of August. So I'm really sorry about that. I don't think it will be delayed for another month because we've sent them more stock. It's just waiting for their systems to update, and you should be getting it fairly soon. It's really annoying, obviously, for me, but you won't. I don't think you'll have to wait a month. I'm pretty certain you won't have to wait a month. So I couldn't tell you exactly when it will be, but I think it'll be coming much more quickly than that. Hi to David. Thank you for arranging this. No problem. I thought it was about time I did another live stream because I'm back now, and yeah, it's been really hard work, and I've got the time and energy to do it now. In fact, I think I might do one every week. I might do one every weekend because there was that. I mean, I did a tweet. I don't know if people, probably not everyone follows my Twitter because it's not a big platform for me or anything. But I did this tweet showing that the Daily Telegraph and the Guardian had given indication that the CCRC referral might be approaching. We don't know, and that might not happen. But if it does approach in the next few months, then let's say, as a sake of argument, it happened in October. So from October onwards, I would then have to rethink what I do on YouTube and be very careful about what I did. I probably can do a certain amount of Lucy coverage for a certain amount of time, particularly if we get more information about all the infants that we've been promised. Now, I can probably do that for quite a long time, but at some point, I'm going to have to stop, probably, because it will be contempt of court. There's dangers of being in contempt of court, which I don't want to do, obviously for my own well-being and also morally and ethically. It's not something I want to do. So while we've got this platform and while I've got you guys and while I can speak with you, I think I'm going to try and do one every week, live stream at the weekend every week, because once the contempt of court thing happens, then I won't be able to do live streams for sure, because you just don't know what's going to happen, and I will have to be careful about what I do with the channel generally. I'll still keep recording things, and there's a lot of stuff I can do that I think will be really interesting, both about miscarriages of justice, maybe about some. I'd like to do cover Theranos. I've kind of done it a bit in the past. I'd like to do a kind of series about Theranos, maybe a series about Madoff, then maybe some stuff about other miscarriages of justice, maybe some stuff about the legal system more broadly. There's lots of stuff I can do, but I'll have to be careful. I mean, I won't be able to say anything about the case other than things that's in the public domain that are just factual. I'd have to be careful. So while we've got this time, I think I should do as many live streams as I can before it becomes more difficult, if not impossible. Hello to Shodo. Pleased to be back home, no doubt, after a crazy few weeks. Yeah, it was nice to come home. It's nice to be here, and we've settled in very quickly. Hi to Chris Lydiat. Thank you for all your hard work on this. Not a problem. Thanks for all the support. It means the world to me. I really appreciate it. Hi to Zoe. Hope you're well. Take a holiday as soon as you can. Well, I don't think it's going to be this year, but next year I'll probably take a couple. Yeah, I think that's quite likely. Hi Chris, I've got my ebook. Can't wait to read it. Great. I really appreciate your support, Janet. Hope you enjoy reading it. The football was tiring. Yeah, I don't know if you go. I know some of you are not football fans. Some of you are. I watched the England-Argentina game. I mean, I love Messi, so I wasn't that disappointed. I think everything's been said about that game that possibly could be. I mean, we invited a lot of pressure, and we basically left the most creative player in the history of football just crossed the ball non-stop for 35 minutes. I mean, it was asking for trouble. It was a winnable game for us, but at the end of the day, people have been trying to stop Messi for a very long time. It'll be really interesting to see what happens in the final, where I think Spain are a better team collectively and in terms of individuals, but Argentina have got Messi and they've got some really dangerous attackers. And I think, to be honest, at the last World Cup, I think France were a better team than Argentina, and so Argentina still managed to get over the line. So it'll be a really interesting game. And I don't think Argentina will be phased by the occasion. I don't think they'll play a defensive game. So I think it'll be a really interesting one. Hi, Chris. Started book today. You are a seriously good author. Thank you very much. I'm glad you're enjoying the book. Really appreciate that. Hi to Wesley. Hope you're well. Hi to Denise. Hi to Diana. Hi, Chris. Sorry I couldn't make it to the book launch. My feet have hardly hit the ground this summer. I was hoping to visit in anyway, but I watched the video. So that's no problem. So I'm hoping, as I mentioned in a previous video, I'm hoping to do events in the future. We've discussed it very briefly with my publisher. We think it's feasible for us to do that. And I may appear at some literary festivals as well. And I may still appear at bookshops, we don't know. But we're just having a period of reflection after the book has been released. I mean, it's only been officially available for 9 days. So, we need to take a little bit of time. But I certainly think something similar to what we did we've seen the Q&A, something similar to that, but with a bigger venue so more people could come perhaps. And then a kind of longer conversation, and then we'll throw it open to questions is what I'd love to do. And then I'll do a book signing at the end, and I'll just sign as many copies as people want. I've signed a fair few the other night, but yeah, that's nowhere near being arranged yet. So it's not going to happen this week. It's not going to happen next week, and it's not going to happen next month. But hopefully, it could happen this year. But we're just taking a little bit of time. So I just want to copy and paste this message that's the one sent, so I can show my publisher and show some other people. Just this message that I'll put on the screen now. Your book is great, Chris. My MP agrees. He phoned me to say how good it is. So I mean, that's really nice to hear. Hopefully, MPs are going to start doing something. Not that I'm criticizing. I'm not bashing your MP. It was good of him to do that, obviously. Him or her, I should say. But I just wanted to make a note of that because, yeah, it's good to hear. Hi, when can I get the audiobook? So I was discussing that a little bit earlier in the stream. We hope it's going to come out early next week. We think it'll come out next week. Annoyingly, now I've said that it probably won't come out next week. It'll come out the week after. But it's nearly there. It's nearly ready. It's nearly good to go. I mean, I quite want to hear it myself because I've not heard it. I've just heard myself dictating it, and that was hard work. But I'm glad I did it. Now it's a month behind me. I'm glad I did it. Hi, Chris. How's Kiko coping with the fame? Well, Keeks is already famous around here, so this is just more fame for her. Keeks just assumes everyone loves her and everyone wants to give her things and everyone wants to give her attention. So she's pretty cool about stuff like that. Hi, Melanistic. Hi, Chris. Hi, everyone. I checked out the Amazon book reviews just now. It looks great. Yeah, I've had some really nice reviews, which is good. Just need to keep building and keep improving it. But yeah, I'm really happy. What's really pleased me actually is that people that have reviewed it have really taken the time to read it and given a very constructive reviews, not just Lucy Letby's innocent by this book or something like that. It's all been very thorough, very professional. That makes me really proud of people that are following the case and people following the channel and reading the book. So I got a message from someone, I think it was on Facebook. I can't remember if it was on Facebook or not. And they said, I've been waiting for my book to arrive and I went out. And as soon as it went out, it arrived. And my neighbour took it. And the person who this was writing this message said, I told my neighbour to open it. And then the neighbour opened it and started reading it. And then she told the original purchaser that she couldn't put it down. So that was really, really nice to hear. So yeah, I tried to write it in such a way as it's readable, of course. I'm quite an experienced writer and author, so you've got to go through some heavy material and some complex stuff. But I tried to make it accessible and I tried to make it flow. And yeah, it was. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I was talking to Peter Hitchens for quite a while at when we were at Waterstones, and he was very kind about it. So yeah, I just did the best that I could, and I put everything into it. So it should be decent because it was basically two years out of my life where I didn't do much else apart from a bit of YouTube, but that didn't. That might seem like an enormous workload, and it was, to be honest. But also, they did feed into each other. YouTube got me known, so the book didn't just come out of nowhere with none of you knowing who I am. You knew. I think that was kind of a bit of social proof for you of like, okay, this book's going to be worth waiting for, and equally, researching for the book fed into my YouTube. I'd done so much research when I started YouTube. I've been able to do good content despite my pretty minimal YouTube skills, I would say. Hello to oh no, there's no more hellos. People. Oh, so someone's saying hit the like button. So I never say that. So yeah, press like if you can and if you know how to do that. So I think I'll go a bit further down. Weather's been very nearly as hot around here too while you're away. First properly cool day in a long time. Yeah, it gets a bit much, doesn't it? I love it if you're in a country that expects that kind of weather. But I mean, if this persists, I mean, I say every year I'm going to get air conditioning in one of my rooms, and I think this year obviously I've been away, but I really need to consider it for next year. I think because we're told this is going to persist. So if it does, then yeah, it was certainly very, very warm on the warmest days. I mean, I was away, but I assume it was warm here. All I can hear is Keeks chewing the bone. Yeah, she's having a good go at it. Have you been able to get a new email account, Chris, or has the original one resurfaced? Well, luckily I've got back into it. It took about a week. And funnily enough, when I got back into it, there was a really important podcast that had contacted me and asked me to go on. So you'll hear that relatively soon. I haven't recorded it yet. But yeah, that's quite it was quite an interesting development. So I was a bit annoyed because I would have recorded it already if I hadn't been locked out of my email. But as it is, hopefully it'll be soon. Other people had more champagne indeed. yeah. Yes. I'm not sure who that was, but I did get a glass, I didn't think it was a good idea for me to be drinking. So I did have a glass. While I was doing my book signing, I did get a glass of champagne then, but I didn't get any of the food. I had sod all to eat that day, really. But yeah, I've lost a few pounds anyway. Amazon cancelled my book order. I know it's happened to others. Yeah, so don't if the book gets cancelled, that's really annoying, and we're sorry about that. But it'll be available again soon, so you should be able to just reorder it quite soon. Just keep checking. Also, I'll let people know when it's back in stock. We didn't expect it to sell out so quickly everywhere. I mean, the first print run is literally gone. So it's gone. It's gone in bookshops. It's gone on Waterstone's website. It's gone on Amazon. It's just all gone. So we've done a second print run, and yeah, that's a nice thing to achieve. You want to sell out your first print run. That's what you're aiming to do. You don't expect to do it that quickly necessarily. So we've reprinted it. Hello to Claudia. Appreciate your kind words. It's book's going well, but we want to sell many, many more. So we'll keep trying. Best time of the day is 5 a.m. Yeah, if you can stick to it, if you can stick to going to bed early and getting up early, then it is a really good thing to do. I agree, especially with a dog. The problem I always have is, as an example, England are playing at 10 o'clock tonight. Now, I'm not going to watch that game because it's meaningless, but if it was a meaningful game, I would want to watch it. So then I'd end up going to bed late. And then if I get up early at 5, you haven't had enough sleep. So I just find it to be impractical over a period of time. But we'll see what happens. I'm in an early cycle at the moment anyway. Kiko's really enjoying that bone. Yeah, she's giving it a good hammering. She's on a little dog bed today. Started reading my book today. I'm glad to hear that. I hope you're enjoying it so far. Hi, Chris. I'm looking forward to the audiobook. Yeah, I can't wait for people to hear that. I mean, I'm really looking forward to. I'm really looking forward to people, getting feedback. I'd love to know what you make of it, because it was really intense to do it, and I really poured my heart and soul into making it as good as I can. And I'm not an actor, and I'm not an orator, and I'm not trained, and I've never done it before. And I just gave it my all, really. So hopefully it's good. But if it's not up to the standard of a usual commercial audiobook, that's because I just tried my best. So I will be interested to see how it goes. Would love you to do a live a week. So I will try to do that. I mean, I might miss some weeks, of course, but I'll try to do one on either Saturday or Sunday every week, as long as we can do it for the reasons I mentioned. Congratulations on the book. Thank you, Gary. I really appreciate that. Hi, Rachel. Hope you're well. Ducking in and out tonight, trying to juggle family dinner. Are you cooking? Good to see you back home safe and sound. You've worked so hard. Bless you. Appreciate that. Good to hear from you as always. So Rachel says, have you heard from Mark Mays yet? I've not heard anything. Just worried he's not also commented on your book. So I don't know Mark really well. I have spoken to him off camera, and I have obviously you'll probably be aware I've spoken to him on streams before. I have got his email, and I will send one soon, but I just don't want to pester him, given that he does sometimes have a bit of a break for a while. But Rachel, if you're concerned a week from now or something, or 10 days from now, let me know, and I will I'll get in contact with him. I just don't want to unnecessarily bother him if he's actually okay and just wants some downtime, which I know he does sometimes. But I will, if we don't hear from him for a while, I will drop him a line and just say, are you okay? People just asking after you. Collected my copy from Waterstones in Liverpool. Thank you for that, Pat. Really appreciate it. Oh, the CCRC as soon as possible. Give Doris a shock. Still saying 5 years. Let's just wait and see. We don't know what's going to happen, but I said my bit. I said my bit in the Q&A at Waterstones. I see no reason why this cannot be resolved in 2 years. I hope it can be. I can't see any way there can be a retrial, as I've said previously. But we have to be open to the fact that they may ask for a retrial anyway, even though that gets harder and harder and harder every day for the prosecution. I thought Carl was very diplomatic in today's video. I mean, he's a very intelligent guy, isn't he? He's just a very good speaker, and I'm enormously grateful to him for speaking out. It's very important. October would be great to hear from the CCRC. I mean, that's just obviously a guess, so don't hold me to that. And I'm not saying that will happen. It was just a random month, really. But yeah, hopefully it'll be this year. It should be this year. I'm hopeful the CCRC will refer soon. If they leave it until September, the spotlight will be back on Thirlwell. So let's say the CCRC don't refer by September, and then let's say Thirlwell say we're going to delay this further still, or we're not quite ready to send the report out yet, or whatever nonsense they come out with this time. That will just be an absolute cast iron indication that we're not going to see the Thirlwell inquiry report. Now, I don't think we'll see it anyway. Personally, I don't think there's the slightest chance that they're going to release that report because, again, you people probably saw a tweet I did where I said I can't see any conceivable way they can write the report based on the documents they've got and A, make it make sense, B, be consistent with the terms of reference, and then C, not get an absolute hammering from the media. So I think the just impossible to write that report. I would imagine I'm a better writer than Lady Thirlwell, and I wouldn't want to have to write it. So Lady Thirlwell is going to find it very difficult. How to join Carl's group? He mentioned. I had my daughter there at the time, so just email me. I'll write my email in the chat as well. Bear with me. It's Lucy_Letby_analysis@mail.com. So please, if you just email me, I'll find a way to connect you with Carl. I'll find the best way to do it. He will be very interested in this. I will actually message him as soon as this. I could even message him now, but I'll message him at the end of the stream just to let him know because he'll definitely want to speak to you. How long would a court of appeal take to start end? Again, this is a bit of a piece of string question. There is no definitive answer to that question. Certainly, in the case of Colin Campbell, he waited for 3 years. Now, I don't think they will dare to wait 3 years for this case. But it's very hard to say. Anything I said would be guesswork. But assuming that the CCRC refers this year, as I said, I cannot see any reason why Lucy cannot be exonerated by 2028. I cannot see any reason for that. And that would be a good result. And it could be before that if we're lucky. Some people think it'd be longer than that. We just don't know. But I've kind of been through all the potential scenarios before. But the day we suddenly see it drop on the BBC website, CCRC refers the case to the Court of Appeal, then the clock will be on them. So Michelle's talking about Mark here. I'm a bit worried about him. It says his YouTube channel is currently idle. If you look in his bio, so let's have a look. Let me just have a look quickly. Just hold on. Yeah. So I think we should just probably respect his wishes and just give him a little bit of space. I know there's a lot of people saying that they're worried, but sometimes, you just need a bit of private time. And I think, without wanting to speak for Mark, I think that he's been really brave to put himself out there, and he doesn't relish being a public figure. Not that he would see himself in those terms, but people know who he is. People recognize him, and I think sometimes, that gets a bit much for him. again, I don't mean to speak for him because I don't know, but I just think he needs a bit of a break from being on, being visible sometimes. However, if we have a live stream next weekend and you're still worried, then I'll think about dropping him a line. But I think we should just give him a little bit of space for another week because it's only been a couple of weeks, I think. But I understand your feelings about it, and if I feel that we do need to drop him a line, then I will. Don't worry. How much information that you know was not put in the book because it could be controversial? Not very much, because pretty much everything that I could. I mean, I with this YouTube channel as well, I always stick to what I can prove. So if I don't feel I can prove something, or at least put a very strong evidential case for it, then I don't say it. So there was very little taken out of the book on the basis of controversy or legal issues or anything like that. We did soften some things to try and be fair, to always try and be fair in everything that I said. But there was very little taken out, very little. I did take a few things were taken out to shorten the word count a little bit. Like I think my first kind of thorough draft I completed was about 178,000 words. So our aim was to get it down to 150,000. So we did take out quite a bit, but some of that was shortening things. There were various ways that could be done. I think one of the things I did do is the more drafts that I did, the more I tried to take my commentary out of the book. I know there's still some commentary when it's justified, but I tried to remove, because it was quite a higgledy-piggledy process writing this book, because you have to keep, as I mentioned when at UCL, you have to keep going back all the time. So it wasn't a pure writing process where you had the evidence, you had the research, and then you just wrote it from start to finish. So in that sense, sometimes I felt I need to really emphasize how important this is. But then when you went back and read it, you realized, no, you don't need to emphasize, because that's really strong on its own. So that's the kind of thing I particularly dialed back a little bit and just diluted slightly, just letting the evidence stand on its own. But there were very little taken out because everything is documented. So, we're not concerned about that. Just bear with me. Excuse me. Probably getting hay fever. Hello, Chris Keith and fellow viewers. If you falsely get imprisoned for contempt of court, I'll write a book about your case. That's just not going to happen. So I will not allow that to happen. Oh, Kiko, not Keith. Right, I wonder who Keith was. Yeah. I mean, I just wouldn't allow that. And I think it's important. I've been a critic of the courts. I will be a critic of the courts in future. I will no doubt be a critic of the courts in print again. But I do believe that contempt of court is important. And I would always be respectful towards that. So I'm not going to be acting in contempt of court. That's a fact. Mark did a video on Consortium and Misfits channel. He sounded fine, I thought. I didn't know that. But as I say, let's see what happens over the next week. And if I really feel we should contact him a week from now, then I'm happy to do that. Helen says, just finished the book, Chris. Excellent read, so full of detail. Hope to goodness the increasing pressure leads to Lucy's release as soon as possible. I hope so. I mean, the pressure's building, and there's going to be more stuff coming out this month. So, yeah, let's hope that things work out well for her. I recently read and benefited from your book too. Glad to hear that, and thank you for the support. Hi to Lynn, nice to have you here. Hi, Chris and everyone. I'll be dipping in and out as my daughter has just arrived. I've been worried about Mark too. I hope he's okay. Yeah. I can't really add to what I've said already, but let's revisit this next weekend. Absolutely loved your book, Chris. I got my copy from Waterstones on Monday and finished it yesterday. I'll post a review on the website shortly. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it, John. It's very much appreciated. And I mean, it's been lovely to see people, treasuring their copies and posting stuff on Facebook, and it's a lovely thing for a writer to experience. So I'm enormously grateful for the support. Thanks again for the kind words, Lynn. I really appreciate that. Yeah. So regarding negative reviews, I'm not going to be addressing those. I don't think anyone looking at those reviews and looking at the reviews of the reviews of the book as a whole are going to view those reviews as good faith reviews, are they? People are entitled to do that. It's not a problem for me. I know that the positive reviews are going to far outweigh the negative reviews. So I mean, if you were looking at it objectively, and if you someone's written, I won't mention the name of this gentleman. You all know his name. Oh, I'm out of my depth. Whereas one of the more recent reviews is from a consultant physician who says, well, let me read exactly what he said, if I can find it. Let me just go a little bit down for this, right? If you are convinced Lucy Letby is guilty, you must read this book and think again. I was a consultant physician and totally persuaded by the arguments that Christopher Morris puts forward about the only thing correct in the investigation and trial was the spelling of her name. Well, they turned up to the right court as well. Nurses and doctors should be frightened that professional can be found guilty of multiple murders without any concrete evidence and with so little expert review of the cases. The author has developed an amazing understanding of neonatology and explains this in legal processes very clearly. Now, Sir Keir Starmer has time on his hands. I suggest you must read this excellent book. So, which review are you going to pay attention to, really? I mean, I'm really not concerned about it. And also, you just have to accept if you put something out there into the world and it's got your name on it, all you can control are the controllables. I mean, that applies in life broadly. All you can do is do the best work that you possibly can, try your hardest on it, and hope that people like it and hope that people rate it, and that's it. And you can't control what people say about it. You just have to roll with that. I mean, luckily, I've written a couple of published books, and they've had almost universally glowing reviews. That's really fortunate. But at some point I might write one that's less well received, or I might write something that, it annoys a certain segment of society, and they give it negative reviews because they don't like what I've said. That could happen in the future. I don't know, but when that does happen, I'll just have to deal with it. And that plenty of people have written things and recorded things and painted things and done various other things and given put their heart and soul into their art or their work. And then people said it's shit. So, that's the risk you take as a writer or a musician or a painter or a sculptor or whatever it may be, an actor perhaps. People can critique you and criticize you. So you've got to be ready for that. And it doesn't bother me at all. Your work rate has been exceptional, mate. Thank you, Paul. I mean, I have got a pretty good work ethic. Like, considering that at heart I'm a lazy person, I do actually work really hard. It's very confusing in many ways. Footy was Argentina doing a Man U Euro final 1999. Yeah, it was a little bit like that. It was a little bit like that. It was such a winnable game for England. If they just played with a little bit more courage, they probably could have won. With that being said, Messi can win any game. We know that. I wonder if any of the staff from the Council of Chester read the book. I'm sure that they will have done. I think it would be very surprising if no one from the Council of Chester read the book, but obviously don't know for sure. Hi, Chris. Congratulations on the publishing of your book. I've got to the end of chapter 1. I like the way you've quoted directly from the individuals involved. Yeah. It was essential to quote as much as possible. So that a lot of the book is quite direct quotations and also direct quotations from the court case. So I'm glad you enjoyed it, but I knew how I wanted to do it, and the next book I write, I'll set myself the same standards for that book when I begin that process. I bet Cheshire Police are reading avidly. No comment. I hold Lady Stammer as my suspect on Letby, allegedly, of course. Yeah. I hope you ended chapters. I love how you ended chapters with a short hook. I've only read 2 chapters though. So, I do think I'm quite good at that, if I may say. I am quite good at structuring a chapter and bringing you into the chapter and then ending it powerfully. I do think I'm quite good at that. My first book was fiction, and I've written a couple of novels, and I got a lot of praise for my fiction writings. And fiction is kind of my first love. I feel that I might be a better non-fiction writer because I'm good at doing the research, and then I like writing about serious topics. But I would like to write some more novels in the future. One thing I really want to write, I've probably mentioned this before, is I want to write a book about what it was like growing up in the 1980s in a northern town, attending a comprehensive school. Now, it will have to be diluted a bit because there was a level of, if I put in everything that happened, it just wouldn't. It would never get published. It's just too much for people nowadays. With the language that was used. And obviously, I wouldn't be condoning that, but I would love to do it fully, all the guts and the grisly innards of what it was like. But it'll have to be diluted a bit, but I'll make it as honest as I can if I ever do it. But I mean, I've already made pages of notes. I've made pages of notes for a few books because I'm always thinking of ideas. And then if it's an idea that requires research, or I'll walk through the woods and things will come into my head, and I think, oh yeah, I should look that when I get home, or I should write it down. I'll type it into my mobile or something. See, this may be my first non-fiction book, but it's not going to be my last. I promise you. Hi Joe, how's it going? Hope you're well. I absolutely 100% guarantee if I buy an air conditioner, we won't have another hot day for 50 years. That's been my reservation as well. I always think it's not going to be this hot next year. So we'll see. Maybe I won't buy one, but I feel like we're going to have to get used to hot weather. It certainly does seem that way. Chris, as you're writing, more rubbish kept coming out. Must have made it hard to edit. Yeah, it did. I've already got 12 new things for a future edition. I don't know what we're going to do or how we're going to do it, but I've already got 12 new things, and there's going to be more stuff coming this month. So, yeah, it was tricky going back and thinking I need to weave this in somehow, and then sometimes you had to change the text that went before it. Then you have to remember what you'd mentioned Yeah, it was tricky. I think we got there I got there to a good final product anyway. Air conditioning in the bedroom will be divine. My pet hate is the biting insects. Yeah. I mean, it's been warm this year for sure. I might get air conditioning. I really don't know what to do. When I'm on holiday, I love the sun, but I love the air conditioning. So I think we miss out on that. Double glazing, insulation, close windows, pull curtains, have a Spanish siesta tomorrow. Yeah, absolutely. No food for the author. That's outrageous. Yeah, I mean, it was my own fault, really. I just should have made sure I got some. But, so many people, I felt it was my role to speak to everyone who was there. Try to speak to as many people as possible anyway. I didn't speak to everyone. Do the Q&A to the best of my ability. Stay sober, and then sign as many books as I could and speak to people who'd taken the time to come and also taken the time to buy a book and then ask me to sign it. So yeah, there was no food for me, but I eat pretty well. Don't worry. food. I prioritize food in my life. Food is important to me. So I do eat well, and I do cook reasonably well. So I do bake. I'm pretty good baking cakes as well. So I do eat quite well. I don't think you need to worry about me too much. I bought 2 copies. Need to get it into book club. So I hope people are gonna do stuff like that. It's really nice. I saw it on Guardian Bookshop, but wasn't sure it was genuine. I'm after the audiobook. Oh, that's interesting. Let me have a look. Let me just have a look here. Yeah, it's genuine. It's genuine. I didn't even know, to be honest, I didn't even know Guardian had a bookshop. It's really weird, like I was looking on stuff in Australia and it was in some retail I've never even heard of. Which is a bit weird but this is what happened. Once you give it to distributors, there's lots of things that they can do. So yeah, it's interesting to see it going around, and I'm really grateful for everything, for the support, and hopefully it's going to help Lucy. Tried my best to write the best book I could. So, I'm really, really grateful to be an author and to know that, I can write another book and not take anything for granted, but it would be very likely to get published. So I've got many more books in me. So I'll definitely, you can tell I'm already thinking about it, even though I'm supposed to be resting, but I just love writing. I love doing creative stuff, and I love researching things. And I love bringing something onto the page, and to have the privilege to write something of this importance and have the support that I've had. And I don't know if you noticed, we've gone past 8,000 subscribers now. And then, incredible room of people I had for the launch. And then, people have been so kind about the book. I know they're objective reviews, but it still means a lot. And then I'll probably be able to do events and sign more for people and stuff. And, that's really, really amazing. I'm enormously grateful, and I'm not going to look that gift horse in the mouth. I'm just going to make sure I do as much important work as I can for the rest of my life. Waterstones north of the border is advising click and collect in 2 hours in stores from Glasgow to Perth, Marie. So we'll be getting more copies out soon as well to bookshops. So jury's still out on whether I watch the France-England match. Part of me thinks while it doesn't count for much with less pressure, it could be really open, entertaining match, friendly rivalry there. So I think as well, both teams are going to be fielding all the people who haven't played, probably. I'm sure it'll be an interesting match, but at the end of the day, there's just nothing on it, is there? It just doesn't mean anything. So that's why I'm going to bed, because I need to get. I'm woke up at 5ish today, so I can't be staying up late. I can't be staying up to midnight. I'll be too tired. I'm sure the audiobook is fab. Can't wait. I've been searching for it. Yeah, well, you'll have a long search. It's not out yet, but yeah, it's coming soon. I wonder what Lucy's parents think of the book and all your hard work. Well, if I knew, I wouldn't be able to tell you. So, hopefully one day they're going to get a voice, because they've not had a voice. And I think as I said before, I think they've suffered as much as Lucy, and I think it's awful. In the name of the Father, not to be shown to the defence, fixed armour. Oh, yeah, I've read that already. CCR saying Court of Appeal must be scrapped completely. Letby is a hostage at the moment. This is why I won't be able to have a live stream when it's gone to the Court of Appeal. Yeah, that would be a bit risky, but yeah, I think it's unlikely they would be scrapped. The Court of Appeal's been around for quite a long time. I think it's formed in 1873, if I remember rightly. It's certainly in Victorian times. So it's 150 years old. And I just don't see that happening. It's hard enough to get meaningful reform, but meaningful reform is needed. It's absolutely needed. I will also get the audiobook too. I can then still knit at the same time. Yeah, I think it's a good. Lots of people do enjoy the audiobooks, so hopefully people will enjoy listening to that when it comes out. Let's go a bit further down. What about David Davis comments in Commons regarding Thirlwall's scope? Well, it was an interesting speech and of the usual quality. I think that you might look at the reaction to that as being quite depressing, but what I would say to you is that let me just try and find what I wrote about it. Hold on, just need to log in. Bear with me. Right. So what I said about this is, I think it's possible, perhaps even likely, that the minister fully understands what's going on with Thirlwall, and a private view is very different to a public statement. So, although she made this quite, what appears on the face of it to be quite a gutless statement, but what that does is it gives her the plausible deniability of being able to say, if Thirlwall is suspended, we were fully expecting them to report. Whereas if she'd actually done something, then Lady Thirlwall could blame the government for the inquiry failing. So I think the response to it was, in a way, it's depressing, but I think it's tactical and strategic, and I think it's just intended to put the pressure on Thirlwall, make it clear how ridiculous it is, what's going on, and make it harder and harder for them to report, which they obviously shouldn't, because it's not just illogical, it's downright dangerous. So I think although the government response was disappointing, after a bit of there was a little bit of a chink of light, wasn't there? With the response to Jesse Norman's comments in the Commons. This was not encouraging, but I've kind of tried to explain the reason for it. I think if they were to say, you're right, the Thirlwall inquiry terms of reference need to be changed, then inevitably the inquiry is going to fail. And then the government can be blamed for that by those chairing the Thirlwall inquiry. Whereas now, it's got to be the decision of the person chairing the inquiry. So it's just kind of a bit of a strategic decision by the government and by the minister, in my view. So pleased with the Kindle copy. I'm going to get audiobook anyway when out. I found your interviews with Carl and Lightning. Also caught the parliamentary session with David Davis. Thank you for that. Hope you're enjoying reading the book. I've not actually seen the Kindle copy, but I've seen, of course, I've seen the PDF. So I assume it's very similar to the PDF, but I personally haven't seen the Kindle. Oh, by the way, are people finding the references useful? Because I reference the book very carefully and very thoroughly. So I hope that has proved to be useful for people. I agree with what you're saying, Stephen, but I can't read that out loud. David Davis was fab. Hope more copies of video appear as with others with comments open. Yeah, probably will at some point. What is your X account called? So I'll just find it for you, and then I can. I actually get a lot of notifications on X now, even though I don't really post on it very much. But maybe I should post on it more often. I'll try to find something to say. So my handle is cpmorris1234, and I've put my Twitter. I still call it Twitter. You can tell how up to date I am. How many years has it been X? 5 years now, possibly. So yeah, I've put my X handle in the comments. Imagine you are innocent. You have to wait for years until they refer your case without a guarantee you will be exonerated. It's rough, isn't it? I've had Michael on the channel, who's in prison for 11 years. I've had Tom on the channel, who's in prison for 6-7 years. no doubt in the future I'll probably have someone else, hopefully multiple people, who've been wrongfully convicted, and it's awful. I mean, I think truly it is impossible to imagine what it would be like and what it is like. So I said right at the start of my Q&A at Waterstones that I hate injustice, which is true. But imagine what it's like when you're the recipient of that injustice, and you're there every day, and you've got to cope with the day-to-day reality of knowing you're innocent while being incarcerated. It'd be bad enough being incarcerated, but being incarcerated with dangerous people, is just not. Like, if you said to me, right, we're going to keep you in a cell on your own, you're not going to mix with anyone, I'll be like, okay, it's a bit of a bummer, but I'll be all right. They give you a PlayStation 2. I just play San Andreas and Gran Turismo and some of the old FIFAs, and I used to like the cricket game on the PS2. See if we can get that. What are the games that I used to like on the PS2? And I'd get some music. I'd be fine, and I could write. It wouldn't be a problem. But obviously, you still don't want to be incarcerated. But being incarcerated in a prison with other people, and I have to mix with them, that doesn't strike me as very, very, very much fun. Historically, Marcus always liked to have time out and probably wants to be left alone. Then he comes back passionately with a vengeance. So this was my thinking as well, Diana. So when I say that, I'm not being flippant or uncaring. I just think sometimes you can make people feel bad inadvertently by saying, are you okay, when they're actually fine and actually they don't want to be bothered. So let's just park this until next week, and then let's see what the situation is next week. The day Lindsay Hoyle stopped short, the Tory MP mentioning Lucy, Sir Alan Campbell responded saying it was a serious matter, and there was concern it was right on the Labour side too. Oh, by the way, the person who said their MP phoned them up, could you, if you can't identify them in the chat, could you email me and tell me who it was? It's important for me to know. I put my email, lucy_letby_analysis@mail.com, in the chat again. I put it in earlier, but it's important for me to know that. Marcus wanted to take some time out for some time now, but he's always only gone for a short time. I think he's recognised for some time that he needed a proper break, and I think this is it. Yeah, so I think that's possible. Mark Mays posted a video on the Misfits channel 2 days ago, so I think he's fine. So I didn't know that, but yeah. Let's look at Consortium of Misfits then, because you're telling me stuff I don't know anything about here today. Let's look at Consortium of Misfits indeed. All right, well, I don't know which video his is, but I didn't know he was on there. But yeah, I can see that he's done stuff in the past. Yeah, so he's probably okay, but we'll see. Let's see how we feel about it next week. What's coming up in the next few days, Radio 4 in particular? So I won't tell you. I know a fair bit about the Radio 4 program. I'm not going to tell you anything about it. It's not fair, but you will want to listen to that. And I will be reviewing it the day after. So it's going out on the 21st of July. So just 3 days now. And then I will be reviewing on the 22nd. So I really encourage people to listen to that. And also, when it has been out and it has been released, to try and disseminate that to people as much as possible and highlight it and get it out and make sure people know about it. And then also my review of the program when that comes out. Who's going to be the first to contact Andy Burnham? Well, I haven't sent him a copy or written to him because he's obviously going to be very busy doing other things. I'll leave it to others as to what they decide to do. But I felt, he's going to be way too busy to read a book or even have his people read a book. But I think there's a possibility maybe he'll do something in the future. I mean, I'm not an optimist about politicians. I must be honest. But if people want to try, then please do. How often will you be posting on YouTube? Are you going to go back to one every other day? The answer to that is I haven't decided yet. I've recorded a lot of content already for July, and some of that is shorter videos and some of it is longer videos. So it's going to be mostly longer videos for the rest of this month, every 2 days, but also a period of some shorter videos, one a day. And then after we get back to normality and after I've had a little bit of a break, then I'll think about what I'm going to do next. I think I'd like to do a bit of both, because I think the short videos have done okay in terms of getting views. My views are shot up now. I mean, we're on 1.75 million, over 1.75 million views now. And the channel's getting, let me just have a look to tell you roughly. So yeah, we're on 152,000 views since over the last 28 days, and also plus 386 subscribers. So that would mean in a month you're getting about 400 subscribers roughly, and approximately 165,000 views. So that's up on what I've done previously. So I think the short videos do help. They help get me more views and help get me more subscribers. So I would like to still do some shorter videos, but also do some longer ones. But I haven't actually decided yet, so we'll have to wait and see. I'm over halfway through this brilliant book, but I do wonder how the accusers sleep at night. A good question. So someone's saying Birmingham 6 was nearly 20 years. I think you're over-egging this one. No chance she's out before 2030. Well, it's hard to say, Stephen, and that's why Peter Hitchens asked me the question about it. What I would say to you with regards to the Birmingham 6 is that, as I mentioned, basically nothing happened for 13 years. And then once they got radio coverage and the book came out from Chris Mullin, they were exonerated within 3 years. Kate, you're being too noisy now. What are you doing? You're being too noisy, babes. Can you just chew it? Good girl. Yeah, so you've got to remember the Birmingham 6 was 16 years, but 13 years of that was absolutely nothing happening at all. And then once the pressure came, the public pressure, the media pressure, it folded pretty quickly. That's why I think this can fall quickly. And I don't think it will. I don't think it will drag on for 5, 6, 7 years. I really don't. But we can't be complacent. We just need to put in the pressure on as much as possible. I presume they prescribe themselves sleeping tablets. That's one possible explanation. Are you sure you can't comment during the appeals process? I think restrictions only apply to jury and magistrates' trials, not when judges decide. A retrial would have reporting restrictions. Yeah, I mean, so this is a good point. So basically, I will have to research and maybe even seek legal advice. I'll just have to wait and see what happens. If I feel I can do it safely, then I obviously will, but I'm not going to be in contempt of court. That's just not going to happen. So I'll just have to wait and see, and we'll just have to wait and see what occurs. From a purely selfish standpoint, would you be able to do the live stream at 7 p.m? I'm going away for a month and don't want to miss them being asleep, as it'll be 8 p.m. where I am. I almost certainly will do them all at 7, yeah, because I'm going to bed at pretty early at the moment and getting up pretty early. So yeah, very likely to be at 7 p.m. Like by the end of this one, even though it's 9 o'clock, I'll be starting to get tired. So yeah, don't worry about that. Yeah, I agree with you about the government's response to David Davis, but I tried to give some explanation of that and why it was that way. Hi to Gelder, good to have you here. Hi to Reflective, good to have you here as well. I wrote a good review and also posted it on X. I believe you liked it. Oh yeah, I saw that, Rachel. It was very kind. I'm not the most prolific. Like, it's hard to keep up with everything on Twitter and on YouTube. And I mean, it really has got to the point where I will get hundreds of notifications every day, like maybe 1,000 sometimes. So I just try and keep on top of it as well as I can. I can't do everything, but I did see that, and I think I answered. So thank you for that, Rachel. I appreciate it. Sorry I'm late. Has there been any discussion about a speech from Sir David Davis? So we did mention that a little bit earlier on, so I won't repeat what I said. You can watch the recording and find out about that. So Nita says, hi, I just want to say I'm only a few chapters into your new book, and I find the wording and the thought process easy, so easy to follow. And English isn't even my first language. Well done. Amazing. Thank you, Anita. That's really nice to hear. It is my biggest skill in life, writing. I guess I'm not bad at communication generally. That is what bought my house, and it's the only thing I would say I'm really, really good at. There's been some other stuff I've been pretty decent at, but it's the one thing I would hang my hat on and say I can write as well as, pretty much anyone, I would say. But it's always lovely to hear when people appreciate what you've done, because I gave it my absolute all to make this the best book it possibly could be. This book should be compulsory reading. Well, I don't have the power to achieve that, but hopefully it'll stand the test of time, and people will read it in the future as well. I'd like to thank you for writing about Lucy's miscarriage of justice, and how is Lucy's mum and dad doing? Thank you, Chris. Well, I don't know how Lucy's mum and dad are doing, and if I did know, I couldn't tell you. So I'm sure life is very difficult for them. I'm sure they desperately want to have their daughter back with them, and I'm sure they're coping as well as they can. But I don't know. I don't have any inside information. I just wish them well, and that's all I can do. This book should be added to the medical and law school as a compulsory read. I do think in the future it may. I wouldn't say it'd be a text for universities, but I think it will be. People will look at it as something that documents something that went horribly wrong, and it's an object lesson in how not to do things. Chris, how was the response to you from the guests, such as Peter Hitchens in the Waterstones meeting? Everyone was incredibly kind to me and said lovely things to me and were very appreciative. Peter Hitchens was, I mean, I must say, he's just a really nice guy. He's just really kind, decent human being whose heart is in the right place, and who is really friendly when you meet him. Not the kind that sometimes portrayed as being quite severe in the media, and that's just not true. He was very kind to me, and everyone else was as well. They were, they were. It was, I mean, I don't let it go to my head, but people say the nicest things to you, and it's very much appreciated. So yeah, it was such an honor to be able to host those people. I'm sure you recognized some of the people asking questions. So yeah, it was great. It was a great day. Hi to Rob Lee. Good to have you here, as always. Us 70s and 80s kids were much cooler than now. Yeah. I think I love the kids now. I do really like them. I feel a bit sorry for them sometimes, in that when I was growing up, music was, for example, was amazing. And I'm not misty-eyed about it or nostalgic, because I wasn't very happy at that time. I'm much happier now, but I have got a pretty good record collection. CDs, not vinyl. Too cack-handed for vinyl. I did the thing. I don't know if you ever read the book High Fidelity by Nick Hornby, but in that book they put their record collections in chronological order, So I did that with mine. And when you look at the albums that were released, it was just relentless at certain periods. And now, I just feel that the music scene is so poor by comparison. And I think that's reflected by the fact that if you hear music in a stadium, it's hardly ever a recent song. Like I almost always recognize the song, and I wouldn't recognize modern music. I think that's such a shame. But then conversely, I suppose young people now have these amazing communication platforms, and they have YouTube giving them that you can watch videos on anything you want, basically. Whereas we had to make our own entertainment, which is probably why people were making better music, because they had to fill the time with something, I suppose. I like your freedom of speech attitude towards book reviews and comments on the videos, Chris. Well, that's just the way it is. So, but appreciate the comment. But you have to have that attitude. You can't if you're gonna do something and put your name on it and put it out into the world. You've got to accept criticism. You just do. So if you can't do that, don't be a writer. Don't do anything in public. Don't have a public profile. Just just do something in private. David Davis's speech is a class, well researched and delivered. Yeah, I agree completely. Yeah, it's a shame there's not more MPs like him. So glad to hear parents are well and holding on to hope. Unfortunately, I don't know whether they are. So I didn't mean to give that impression. I've not had any contact with them. And even if I had, I couldn't say anything. So I don't know how they are. I would imagine they're finding life difficult, but you at the end of the day, whatever situation you find yourself in, you've just got to get on with it, haven't you? So I'm sure that they will be dealing with it to a certain extent, but it will be difficult for them. Of course, it will. People eventually learn to say nothing and be thought a fool rather than open their mouth and remove all doubt. There's kind of a joke about that in The Simpsons, that one of the many great jokes in The Simpsons. It was better at school in 70s, pre-mobiles, pre-internet. I mean, it's strange, isn't it? Because I do love the internet. I love what it's given to us, and my career is entirely based on the internet. I would never have been able to become a writer without the internet, so I'm really grateful for the internet in that respect. But I do think it can be dehumanizing in some regards, and I do think there were aspects of the culture that existed before the internet that were preferable. I certainly think mobile phones, just constantly having this thing in your pocket, just constantly, it can be very unhealthy. And I'm not the biggest fan of social media, although I accept that it can be very useful as well. Well, I've just put your book down to see if you've had a discussion on YouTube, and you have. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying the book. Really appreciate that. Is that an ice cream sundae glass you're drinking out of? Possibly. I'm not really sure where I got this glass from, but it's just in my cupboard and I just picked it up. I couldn't see my usual ones that I use, so I just thought I'd use this. It kind of reminds me of, there's a place in Scarborough. I'd be interested, has anyone been to the Harbour Bar in Scarborough? It's on the seafront at Scarborough, and it's a traditional ice cream parlour, and it's still furnished and set out the way that it was when it opened in the 1940s. They've refurbished it, but they've not changed the decor at all. And I remember going there as a kid, and they do the most amazing ice creams, and I used to love it. I've not been there for ages, and I really want to go back. One year I want to play in the Scarborough chess tournament, Scarborough Open, and go to the Harbour Bar and stay in a hotel on the seafront and take gigs. The problem with that is, if I can't take gigs if I play in the chess tournament, because you can't leave her. You can't take her to a chess tournament. That'll be disaster. And I can't leave her on her own because she just cries all day. Don't you, Keeks? Yeah, you do. So one day I'll do it. Lovely to join your live discussion. Was reading your book Engrossed. Thank you, Chris. On chapter 3 now. Glad you're enjoying it. I mean, it's so lovely to hear that people are enjoying the book. I must say, if you haven't left a review already and you're able to do so, please do leave a review because they're really valuable and it acts as kind of social proof for the book and it helps algorithmically. So please do review the book. That's one of the ironic things about negative reviews. Negative reviews help the book algorithmically. That's one of the things they don't realize is that by all they're doing is boosting the ranking of the book by buying it and reviewing it. So thank you to the negative reviewers. All you've done is help the algorithms of the book. So you may not have realized that, but you do now. Hi, Chris. Received my copy yesterday from Amazon up to chapter 7. Yeah, so that's great. I mean, it's really nice to have people enjoying the book. I really appreciate it. Your book launch looked like a great night. Congratulations, Chris. It was one of the best days of my life, to be honest. It was a real privilege, and it's something you dream of doing as an author, to have written a book that I think is important, and to have a lunch night in London and to have a room of people of that caliber that were there was, a real treat. And then I'd done the Daily Telegraph on the same day. And then I'd also met my researcher who I'd never met before because she lives in America, and we had a nice afternoon. If I could have changed one thing, it was bloody boiling. I mean, it was so hot. It was even mid-30s at night. It was very hot in London that day, but you can't have everything, can you? It was still, it didn't detract from anything. We were actually standing on the street drinking in the evening after the Waterstones thing because you couldn't get in any of the pubs, and it was still really warm. So it's more pleasant to be stood on the streets, really. But yeah, it was a great night. Absolutely. Chris, have you had any feedback from the defence, e.g., Mark MacDonald or Lucy's parents or friends? So I wouldn't expect. Just excuse me. If I talk for this long, when it's like hay fever season, I start getting itchy at the back of my mouth. It's really annoying. I wouldn't expect Mark to contact me because, I don't even know if he's read the book. He's very busy, and he's concentrating on the legal side of things. Had Lucy's parents or friends contacted me, I couldn't say anything about it. So I'm sorry about that, but it would absolutely have to be confidential had they contacted me. Which they haven't. When's your Daily Tea interview coming out, Chris? I kind of discussed this earlier, but I don't know exactly. But I'm hopeful it'll be next week. I think there's a good chance that it will be next week, but we don't know exactly. They should play the World Cup until every side gets ranked, not just the first, second, third, fourth. Yeah, I mean, it just. They're talking about a 64-team World Cup now. I mean, it's utterly ridiculous. 48 was too many because at the end of the day, the top 4 FIFA-ranked teams have made the semi-finals. There have been a few upsets and a few teams got deeper than you might expect, but ultimately, it's too much. It's too much. 32 teams is plenty. To go to 64 is a joke. And if they go to a 64-team World Cup, it'll be watering it down and it's all about money, obviously. No one suspects anything else. We know why they're doing it. I just think it's ridiculous. Lucy's mum and dad really need a voice too. I completely agree with you. And I'm sure they'll get one eventually. But at this point in time, they've made the decision they don't want to speak. And I respect that decision. I think it's the right decision for them. And I feel that when the time is right, they will be able to speak. But until that time, they wish to keep their privacy, and who can blame them for that? I'm halfway through your excellent book. Bought it directly from the publisher, but I'll be sure to leave reviews on Amazon and Goodreads as soon as I finish. Christine, thank you, Christine. I really appreciate that. I doubt it will go to the Court of Appeal. The CCRC content will frighten the horses and a written judgment will be handed down without a formal process. Possible. I mean, I don't like to make predictions about what's going to happen because it's really hard to say. But there's a lot of things that are possible. It's just really, really hard to say. We'll just have to wait and see. I mean, I just hope it gets resolved soon because Lucy suffered enough. Hi, Christopher. Looks like I've joined as you're leaving. Well, no, because I've been here another half an hour, so you know that now. I've got your book from Waterstones last week. You can catch up on your sleep. I'll watch this tomorrow. You're amazing, and thank you. Thank you, Angela. I really appreciate that. So I'm going to start looking for some questions now because I need to stop this at 9 o'clock. So I'll look for some questions. Let's go a bit further down. Hi, Chris. I mentioned I try and donate your book to our local library. On trying, they told me this could only happen if the book was on the county catalogue. Right. So you learn stuff all the time, don't you? What the hell does that mean? Right. So we will right. So we will probably have no power over that, but I'll research that and see what happens. But we just don't. I don't know if we can get it in the county catalogue as it's described, but we'll try. Is there an urgency hurry to get these other stories negative to the prosecution out before the CCRC refers? Good question. I think that there's enough in this. I mean, come on, there's 36 reports from 33 experts. If that's not enough for them to refer, I mean, this is as I said, this is the biggest appeal in British history in terms of expertise. It's probably the greatest concentration of expertise that's ever been assembled. If that's not enough for them to refer it to the Court of Appeal or do whatever they have to do, then it's ridiculous. So I don't think there is an urgency to get negative stories or whatever out. I think it helps with the public perception. I think that helps with the court system. Is the book selling better than expected? I've had the reorder for weeks and it's still delayed from Amazon. So we've sold, as I mentioned earlier. So nice to have you here, Carl. Good to have you here as always. I don't know about selling better than expected, but it's sold out completely. So we've done a second print run already. In terms of the pre-order being delayed, Amazon will update their system soon and it will be available and you'll receive your pre-order, but they're going to get a lot more copies. So yeah, we're working on it. Whether it's selling better than expected, I had absolutely no expectations just because I don't know. It was impossible for me to know what would happen. But obviously, you don't usually sell out your first print run this quickly, so I guess it's done pretty well. But we want to sell out the second print run now, so just keep going. Let's go a bit further down. What is the name of the Letby program on BBC Radio 4? I think it's File on 4. But let me. Oh no, it's not actually, is it? It's Radio 4 Investigates or something like that. Just hold on. I'll tell you in a sec. So, it's File on 4 Investigates, and it's on at 8 p.m. on Tuesday the 21st, and I think it's repeat the next day at 10 a.m. No, 11 a.m. It's repeat the next day at 11 a.m. So, yeah. Make sure you listen to that because it's going to be good. As an introvert, I was so relieved to see you back in your study with a dog. But I forget other people actually don't mind leaving the house sometimes. Well, I'm definitely an introvert as well. But I think, I'm actually quite good at doing social things. if I need to do something, like obviously when I did the launch event, there was a lot of people there, and it's my job to circulate and network and all that, and make sure I made them feel appreciated. I'm actually not bad at doing that, and when I've been at meetings and people come up to me, I'm fine with it. In fact, I like it. Um, and I think I think having a dog has really helped me a lot, because I think I've grown from having a dog, because you just to get into conversations with people all the time, and Kiko is like the center of attention, and so I think that has made. I would have leaned more towards the introvert side of the fence, and I think I'm much closer to the middle now. But yeah. I mean, I was glad to be back home, and I do like having my own space. I'm not going to say that I don't. I'm very much used to that, so it's been nice, and we've had some great times here because the weather's been good, and we've just been going out on long walks every day. So yeah, it's been really good. So someone asking about the Radio 4, just to reiterate, on the 21st of July at 8 p.m. It's called File on 4 Investigates. It's repeated the next day at 11 p.m. Let's go a bit further down. Loved your book, Chris. I was one of the lucky ones who received it a few days early from Synto, so feel blessed. Thank you, Patricia. I really appreciate you purchasing and reading. You had a great audience: Hitchens, Clusey, documentary makers, and John Sweeney as compere. Yeah, we were very lucky. Loads of doctors, professors, experts, nurses. Couldn't ask for anything better. And the room was packed as well. we legally couldn't have got many more people in there. So, if book becomes bestseller, it should. Will you be interviewed on GMB and convince Susanna Reid? She seemed a little more warm towards Carl, I thought, but good coverage either way. This is possible. We don't know if it's going to happen or not, but it's possible. Let's go a bit further down. Is the Radio 4 program File on 4? Yes, it is. So I'll read from here because I'm only. Oh no, I'm still 20 minutes. Yeah, no, I'll read from here because I'm just 20 minutes behind now. I struggle to write these comments, but I do have a fictional story. So with the help of AI, I managed a short story. When you have more time, I'd love to send it to you. Maybe you could develop it. Yeah, I'd like to read it. I don't have a lot of time. I don't know when I'm like. I don't know if I'll have time again in this life, but how many words is it? I'd like to have a look at it for sure. I can read it pretty quickly, so just send it to me. Just send it to my email, and I'll take a look. Have a documented daily process. You can be so productive. Yeah, I mean, I've been pretty good with my discipline, I think. Digitization and DRM ruin the music industry. Hopefully the games industry won't go the same way. P.S. Great work on getting the book out, Chris. My copy's in transit. That's great. I can't wait for you to read it. I mean, I think it's bad if predictable news that the PlayStation are saying we're not going to have discs anymore. I think that's a massive mistake for them because people want to own their media, firstly, and secondly, why not just get a PC? It's just a cheaper, less powerful PC. The whole attraction of having a gaming console is that you can own the media and own the disc and keep control over the disc. And I know the developers don't want that, and I know the console makers don't want that. But I think they're really kicking themselves in the teeth by doing that because it's just not what people want. It's not what the consumer wants, and if you don't do what the consumer wants, you'll be punished. And with the games are so expensive now, you have to give people the right to sell them on eBay and give them to other people and so on and so forth. Let's go a bit further down. I mentioned High Fidelity. It's one of the few books I've read from start to end. Your book will be another, I promise. That's interesting. And certainly Fever Pitch by Nick Hornby is a great book. maybe the best book written about football. Although Football Against the Enemy by Simon Cooper is very good. I always like that one. Some really interesting stuff in there, if you ever read it. I showed David Davis at my work. He's an elder statesman who managed to have a cup of tea and chat. He was very articulate and supportive of Lucy. I hope she gets out sooner rather than later. Well, that's great. I used to write for a music journal, Wax Poetic. That's interesting. I'd make a distinction. Popular music was much better then, but if you dig into non-popular modern music, there are literally, yeah, I'm sure that's true. Thousands of amazing musicians making amazing music, but you won't hear it in the charts or even close to. So I'm sure that's true. There's always creative people doing stuff. It's just that for me, I can't discover this music. Like I haven't got time to, and I think it's a shame because music used to be such an important part of the mainstream culture, and now it just isn't. And I think that's a shame. And I also think it's a shame that these amazing musicians, as you describe, can't have a more of a showcase, a stage for what they've done. I'm sure there are talented people out there, but yeah, I think it's harder for bands as well nowadays because you can't like just for example the last really enormous band Oasis. They used to. I walked past where the rehearsal room was in Manchester when I used to live there, and now it's just flats. And it would be so much harder now to get a band together and get the rehearsal space and buy the instruments, but mainly because of the rehearsal space. So I think guitar music in this country has really declined, partly because of that. But I'm sure there's still people doing good stuff. CCRC will refer, but will take time. Prosecution needs to consider a large volume of fresh evidence. Also, Lucy is only recently waived privilege. Well, it was quite some time ago now. I don't know what will happen. I really don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. It could take quite a while. It might be quick. We just have no way of knowing. So someone else saying Amazon cancelled my book order. So let me reiterate. They will have more copies soon. You will be able to order the copy again soon. And I'll definitely update people as this happens. And also the audiobook will be available soon, very soon. Hopefully next week. Hopefully they'll update the systems next week for the physical copy as well. Yeah. Let's go a bit further down. Book is great. I'm about halfway through at the moment. There's good music around today, but it's not always in the mainstream. I'm sure you're right. Thank you for your comments on my book. I really appreciate it. I'm certain the original defence team will have loads to say on why they didn't call any experts except a plumber. Who knows? Who knows whether we'll ever hear from them? But it's possible. Just finished listening to a live bouzouki band here in Kos. It's all still around, but is it dying out? My son's generation actually enjoy our period of music a lot. Maybe some hope, and I think that's the thing that it says so much that the younger generations will go and watch bands from our generation. That says everything, doesn't it? I think it's such a shame that they don't have their own, mainstream radical, but mainstream music, but still saying radical things and still, rebellious and challenging and all these things. It's all underground. I think that's very regrettable, but at least there's still people making good music. That's the main thing, I guess. Well done with the book, Chris. Very thorough. Thank you. Really appreciate that. You're standing up for the human high-quality side of the internet whilst AI sweeps in front of the other. So much low-quality stuff now has to end. Yeah. And if you look on the Reddit pages related to YouTube, there's so much criticism of this. So I think that it's I don't know what they can. I don't know enough about AI to know whether it's feasible to stop it. AI slop, as they call it, on these platforms. I really don't know. I think that I think there'll always be an audience for high quality material. The danger, obviously, is that AI gets to the point where it can produce human like videos. But I think there'll always be a place to have a connection with a person and hear their human view and experience their human creativity. Um, AI definitely is challenging for many creators and many creative people. In writing, it has a big influence, a big impact already. Um, but I do think there is hope because I know YouTube are trying to take measures to limit it. Whether they can do that, I don't know. The Letby case is the most complicated case I've heard of. This means it takes longer for the CCRC to process. Possibly. I just don't know what's going to happen exactly. The legal profession of judge, jury, and executioner, that's 3 pensions in 1 purple lifeboat. Yeah, it is a bit of a problem. It is a bit of a problem. It's very difficult to hold them to account. As I said in the Q&A, we must find a way to do that. We must find a way to do that in the future. It would be a calamity if we go through all of this and nothing really changes, because it'll just happen all over again. So we must make some progress on reform of the criminal justice system. That's one of the things that needs to be reformed and updated. Only on chapter 3, but already left review. Thank you. Hi to Matthew Swift. Nice to have you here. I'm about a third the way through your book. Probably will have some criticisms though, but then again, I don't read good. LOL. Okay, well that's absolutely fine. You're perfectly entitled to say whatever you want. You can always, you've got my email. You can always email me if you've got something to share. So please do if you wish. A dog in a chess tournament would be worse than a bull in a china shop. Yeah, it might not end well. Let's just say that. Now, the good thing about chess is you do write your moves down, so you could recreate the board position, but a dog would just not be welcomed, unfortunately. Yeah, I kind of agree with you that I think this case was made to sound a lot more complex than it is. I agree with you, Stephen. I don't think it is as complex as people think. Now, I realize I've written a complicated book about it that's got a lot of information in it, but that is just to make sure I annihilate just to show every part of the prosecution case is without foundation. And I want to make sure I went through it all. And I think I addressed everything, every important argument. It just went on for a very long time. But basically, the crux of it is that the circumstantial case is nonsense. The anecdotal evidence has no value, and the medical information is, let's be generous and say, extremely poor. We'll update my review, I think, to mention your online references. Yeah, that'd be nice if you can. But that's not a problem. Can you have a beautiful soul? I really hope the truth is realised and Lucy's exonerated very soon. My best wishes to Carl and Jessica, Claire and Jessica as well. Yeah. I agree completely. We're really lucky they've come forward, and it's helped a lot. Alex Oberon has admitted someone very close to him was directly involved in it all. Wonder who? Yeah, maybe, but that could be completely untrue. I don't believe anything that anyone says on the internet unless they can prove it, and I don't disbelieve them either. But if people make extraordinary claims, they need to prove it, and the internet allows you to say anything. So, if I'm not saying it's untrue, but just hearsay as far as I'm concerned. Hi, Chris. Hi, Keith. How's it going? Just read your excellent Daily Skeptic article from a few days ago. So well written, like your book. Just getting into that. Thanks for all you're doing. My pleasure. Thank you for all your support, and it was really good to see you at the launch. We had a very pleasant afternoon. We had a drink and we were sitting down, so it was good. Chris, I've had a look at the scheduling for Radio 4 program on the 21st. The only program I can find, which might be the one you referred to, is File on 4, which has no description of the topic. So it is that File on 4. It is at 8 o'clock. So look out for it. I bought 2 books, one so I can keep and one I'm lending out to as many friends as possible. Also, if you can encourage people to buy the book and review the book, that would be very much appreciated. But yeah, please do share it as well. How many countries is the book available in or will be in the future? So I would imagine it's about, I can find this out quite easily. Yeah, probably about 50, I think, roughly, give or take. All the English-speaking countries, and should be available in virtually all the European countries. As far as I know, it won't be available outside of those countries. Who knows? But I don't think it is. But it's surprising what you find out sometimes. 19 Nurses, Mark McDonald said he would be making public the content, the expert reports. He didn't say when, but it will have to be soon to apply pressure to CCRC. Any thoughts? I don't know when that will be. I think that will be done in conjunction with the CCRC. I think it's more likely to happen after a referral, but I don't know for sure. I've got no inside information. I don't know. But listen, when those reports come out, you'd better believe I'll be covering that in very great depth. How will Lucy do when she gets out? Historically, miscarriage of justice victims really struggle. I hope she'll have a great support network. Well, she'll have a lot of public support. I can't say for certain how she will do, but hopefully she'll be fine. I mean, it would be speculative for me to say anything about this, really. We just don't know. All I can say is we'll do everything we possibly can to help her. That's all we can do. Hopefully what I've heard, which is not any more than is available in the media, is that she's doing okay and she's adjusting. So she can adjust to that. Hopefully she can adjust to her release. But the scale of adjusting to release should not be overstated. Has Netflix talked to you yet? No, they haven't. Noticeably, Moritz and Liz Hull have been very quiet recently. I wonder why. I can't imagine. Thanks for all your dedication writing this book. It's my pleasure. There was a troll who claims to have 2 science degrees. Barry, that may very well be true. They may have science degrees, but like I say, I don't know. I don't really care what people say on the internet because anyone can say anything. Hi, Chris. Lovely to see you. Nice to have you here, Alex, as well. I just watched the live Q&A. You were great. John Sweeney was funny the way he was calling everyone. I was thinking the wine was going down well. Yeah. He definitely had a drink, and some others did. And it worked well because I was like the straight man, I think. And, we that segment, we thought we didn't know what was going to happen, but we just threw it open. He threw it open immediately. He was going to interview me and do a longer interview, but then he didn't. And it just worked really well. We got all the questions. We could have gone on longer, really, but I had to do book signings. I kind of wish I'd done another 15 minutes just on my own and just answer some of the other questions that were going to be asked. But I guess I'll get to do that in the future. Now, my dog, my beloved dog, is calling for me, so I better just go and see what she wants. I'll be back in 1 minute. What's the matter, Keith? Do you need wee-wees? Do you need to keep having wee-wees? Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Let me just show you something, actually. So I put my book here. So that's next to Kafka. I thought that was the perfect place for it to go. It's not that it isn't The Trial by Kafka, actually, but yeah, I thought it'd be the right place. Was Mr. Sweeney arrested for being drunk and disorderly as soon as he stepped outside the Waterstones? I doubt it, but I couldn't say for certain because he left before me. Because he left that he had to go at 8, so that's why he left at the end. But yeah, it was a successful event and video, I think. Let's go a bit further down. Did you speak to the Sun journalist one-on-one? It would be great to hear their thoughts on it all. I didn't actually, because I had to do signings after that, and I don't know if they were there after that. But yeah, it was nice. I appreciate the fact that he came. In a recent Double Jeopardy podcast interview, Dame Vera Baird confirmed the CCRC commissioners only work one day, some 2 a week. If they start looking at the case now, how long will it take? It's just impossible for me to know. Let's just wait and see. All we can do is, try to put the pressure on and make it publicly known as much as we can for as many people as we can, that the situation is that this is an unsafe conviction. That's the most generous way you can describe it. One of them. So I'm going to say this again because someone's mentioned this molten PR, right? So, and that people troll saying this. So let me say this. I've said this multiple times on the channel already, right? I do have a PR company, as I've said many times. It's not molten PR. It's a PR company that specializes in books, which is not molten PR. I'm not connected with PR, molten PR. I'm not a client of molten PR. It's as simple as that. I can't make it any clearer. But I do. It is correct to say that I have a PR company, because if you do a book of this, profile, you need a PR company to help you. It's as simple as that. But it's not molten PR, because then they don't work on books. Let's go a bit further down. Received your book yesterday from Amazon. I haven't put it down yet. I hope it helps to free Lucy. Thank you, Oaksford. Really appreciate that. Again, let me reiterate to people, when you get the opportunity, please remember to review the book. That would be very much appreciated. It's very important. So anyone who hasn't reviewed it yet who's got the book, please do review it if you get the opportunity. So I love gaming. Actually, I said gaming actually destroyed music initially, and that is true. From the 90s, gaming was the new replacement for music culture. I think it's a combination of gaming and the internet. It's so instant, isn't it? And you said someone here says my 14-year-old loves Oasis and the Stone Roses. So they're going to love those records. Those records will stand the test of time. And any classic record, when you listen to it, stands the test of time. Even like I love records from the 50s even, because if something is great, then it just stays great. Sometimes the recording sounds a bit dated. Even some of the Beatles recordings sound a bit dated. It was extraordinary what they got out of 4 tracks. But if something is great, then it always remains great. So the early Oasis albums and particularly the Stone Roses' first record that everyone loves, it'll always stand up. And I think that I did actually hear on this topic of gaming destroying music and the internet destroying music. I heard Noel Gallagher say once, if he'd have grown up with YouTube, he never would have been in a band, because he would have just watched the Beatles on YouTube all the time. And I think that does have a big impact. And I agree, video games, because people love video games, and I I grew up enjoying them as well, but I kind of gone off them a bit. I'd like to play GTA 6 one day. I'll probably wait till because I haven't got a PS5 and I probably won't get one. Well, I definitely won't get one. I'll probably get a PS6. I'll skip the generation and then I'll probably get GTA 6 when it comes out for the PS6. Maybe I'll play the remastered version. I don't know. Maybe I'll play it as an upscaled version. I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see. Let's go a bit further down. Try to leave a review on Amazon, but won't let me say my account does not meet requirements. So annoying. So basically, there's some requirements about having bought something or spent a certain amount of money or something like that. So yeah, if you were to buy something else on Amazon, I'm not saying you should, but if you did, then it may allow you to review. But yeah, they're quite fastidious about that. Pretty annoying. I know we're hopping mad about Letby being justice on this channel, but there are still millions out there who won't be able to wrap their heads around the courts being wrong. Is that a challenge? Yes, it is a challenge. I think that things will happen that help. Let me just say that. Hi, Chris. Hope all is good with you. Hi, Mark. Hope you're well. I'm very well. I'm as well as can be expected under the circumstances. Was chatting in the pool with a lady who works for the NHS. Great to start hearing views from people who don't know she's a scapegoat. We talked about the Ockenden review. Well, that's very good. That's very good. Just go a bit further down. So we're nearly at 9 now, so I should stop soon. Chris, the Hillsborough law now states that people in charge should tell the truth. To pass a law for that is a sad reflection on our country. Agree, Joanna. Agree. Ironic that it took the Hillsborough disaster as well for that to happen, and the debacle of the supposed investigation into the Hillsborough disaster. Yeah, it's going to be hard to get a view from Andy Burnham. It's going to be hard to get a view from Andy Burnham, I'm afraid. Chris, I'm desperate to organise your books into colour order. Yeah, I used to do that kind of thing, but when I moved here, it was a long day, so I never had the. Maybe one day I'll do that, Michelle. We'll see. Have you got a more hopeful book to put it next to? I think it's so appropriate there, but yeah, maybe I'll move it at some point. We'll see. It was interesting that Michelle also felt focus should be put on the executives who ran down resources. Yeah. I think considering when you see in the NHS, it's not just the Council of Chester, but the amount of negligence claims and the extraordinary amount of money they spend on negligence claims, it's incredible, really. And that's indicative of a failing system, isn't it? When you're spending more on negligence than you're spending on the system itself, that's not great. I think anyone would agree that's not great. How was Nick Johnson KC able to play down the appalling sanitary conditions? So I don't think he did a great job of this. He just tried to do it. But the thing is, the prosecution had so much, the defence presented so little, in my estimation. You know, it almost just. And by the time they got onto it as well, because the prosecution was able to go on for months and months and months, I think it just went over the jury's head. But we know now how important that was. But I think he didn't do a great job actually responding to it, because how can you? How can you? He just said, "Oh, look at all of our evidence." Might Lucy do better living abroad once free if parents can go with her? I think so. But that's not for me to say. It's not my decision, obviously. And ultimately she's going to have to do whatever she's comfortable with and whatever she thinks is right. And also, I'd like to think we can tell her story in such a way and get the message out there to indicate the fact that people shouldn't feel anything negative towards her, so that she can live in this country, and that the public perception of her in this country is more favourable. I mean, it's shifting, but it needs to keep shifting. But I hope things can occur to help with that. Great to hear you talking about music. When Judgment Day eventually comes, I will be playing Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds on repeat. I mean, I love that album. It's an amazing album. The only thing that annoys me about it is that Strawberry Fields should be on that album. But because of the tight-ass record company, it was a double A-side single, and they never put Strawberry Fields on Sgt. Pepper's, which I think is a travesty. But it is still an almost perfect album, nevertheless. I mean, I was thinking about stuff I could do one day, and like books came to mind as something that I could discuss on the channel. I won't be doing that for quite a while because it'll be Lucy and for as long as I can. Certainly, while we've got this period where we need to keep putting the pressure on, we need to keep doing new things, then I'll just continually do Lucy material. But if I ever needed to do something else, I was thinking it'd be interesting to discuss my favourite books or review my favourite books. So maybe I could talk about my favourite albums as well, if people would like to hear that. But hopefully, I'm going to be able to record Lucy material during the period where we're waiting for her to be exonerated. But one day, Lucy will be exonerated, and we'll be able to move on to other things. Now, I'd like to do criminal justice stuff, and I'd like to do miscarriage of justice stuff, but I'd also like to be able to do other stuff as well. And the name of the channel will likely change once Lucy's exonerated. So yeah, I'd like to be able to do other stuff eventually. Have you played Red Dead Redemption 2? I was blown away with the detail in this game. Yeah, I've played all the Rockstar games pretty much. I never played Manhunt because it just seemed a bit tasteless, but I played all the GTAs. I played Bully. I played both Red Dead Redemption games. So yeah, it was a great game. I didn't have time to play it to the end because I was just too busy, but I did enjoy playing it. Did Nick Johnson absolutely and totally know the victim is innocent? It's impossible to say. I don't think they care. I just don't think they care. Whether or not he believed in it. Quiet Cakes, thank you very much. Whether or not he believed in his case, I don't know. I pre-ordered 2 copies and received 1. They said half the stock had a printing error, so I could only supply 1. I mean, that's just not true. But it'll be in stock again soon. You'll be able to get them soon. The audiobook's coming soon. It'll all be coming soon. Chris, why are Carl and Claire having to wait to get their daughter's medical note? Surely it's their legal right. It is their legal right. The next video that's going to come up on Monday will be with Martin Pittman, and it's us discussing Carl's interview and the situation with Carl and Claire. So there's more information on that in that video. That'll be coming on Monday. I read in a tabloid that Lucy walks around the prison like Queen Bee. I'm not buying that. I very much doubt that from what I've heard about her. Great to see you, Chris, and to read everyone's messages tonight. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. It's always very enjoyable to do these things. Strawberry Fields on the Magical Mystery Tour album. Yeah, I've got that. I often listen to it because it's got Strawberry Fields on it. And it's got the Magical Mystery Tour, the song, which again, it's the only album that's got Magical Mystery Tour on as far as I know, apart from maybe compilations. I received my copy of Reasonable Doubt today, Chris, and I'm loving it. Thank you. Really appreciate that. And thank you for all the support for the channel as well. It's so well written. Fantastic job. Thanks. Appreciate that. Tried my hardest on it. So, not necessarily for you, Chris, but other alleged serial killer nurses in prison seeing dodgy convictions. Yeah, so I can't comment on any of the nurse cases at this point in time. I don't know what the future holds, but I have become interested in another miscarriage of justice that I may write on in the future, or I may cover on the channel, but I will be focusing on Lucy for the time being. And I can't comment on the other nurse cases because I haven't investigated them in sufficient depth to be able to do that. I assume all your existing material will be, it'll always remain online. The thing about contempt of court is it's just new material. If you've recorded something, it's fine. You can still buy the book. I can still promote the book if I wish. I can still mention it, certainly. That's all fine. It's just new material. But I will get legal advice and I'll see what I can do and what I can't do. Plenty there to keep the fight alive, even if current output is banned. That's true. But we'll see what happens. Yeah, someone's saying about a GB News presenter. Fair enough. Some people, they use a printout to say whatever he wants. That's fine. Strawberry Fields is my absolute favourite Beatles song, followed by Eleanor Rigby. Yeah, they're definitely two of my favourites. I mean, Eleanor Rigby is a masterpiece song as well. Strawberry Fields is a masterpiece song. Day in the Life is a great song. I always really like Helter Skelter. It's not really held up as being one of the best, but I've always liked Helter Skelter. There's lots of others. I'm jealous I can't read the book since I'm blind and the print is too small. Can't wait for the audio. So hopefully it'll be early next week, Denise. Hopefully, but it should be next week. But it's coming. It's coming soon. It's ready. It's uploaded. We're just waiting for it to come up. Yeah, I just mentioned A Day in the Life. I grew up in Blackburn. I think that again, that's just an incredible piece of art with amazing lyrics, amazing feel. Just a brilliant song. Across the Universe as well is a good one. We could probably just discuss the Beatles songs for a couple of hours, couldn't we? But I've reached the end of the comments now. So yeah, I'll just read this last one. The book is fabulous, Chris. I'm still wading through it as I'm a slow reader. So far, it is brilliant. Thank you, Mark. I really appreciate that. So I'll just end the broadcast by just saying, do you like the Beach Boys too? Yes, I do. I prefer the Beatles, but the Beach Boys have got some amazing tracks as well, amazing melodies, and just like a good tune, basically. So yeah, I'll just finish this broadcast by saying, thanks for all for being here. Thank you for the support. Thank you for buying the book. Thank you for all the kind remarks. Finally, if you haven't reviewed the book and you can, please do review the book online, and I'll keep people updated with when it's restocked, and I'll keep people up to date with when the audiobook becomes available. But that's the end of this stream. As I say, I'll do one again next weekend, either Saturday or Sunday, and I'll try to do one every week from now on. It may be that I have to miss some weeks, of course, but I'll try to do one next week. And thank you all for being here, and I'll speak to you all again soon.